Hello there, my name is Carole. Welcome to my channel, and this is #Friday Sews. So it is a catch up of my sewing week. I'm at the bottom of the garden in the cabin today. I'm not in my sewing room because it's much cooler down here. And in the UK this week we have had bumper temperatures. It's been wonderful. I love it. As long as I can get some sleep at night, I love it. I will just want to say, because 60% of my actual subscribers are American, I feel I need to say happy 4th of July today, because this will be going out on Friday the 4th of July. Now, I've got something slightly different for you today. I've got a couple of makes, as usual, sewing makes, and something to show you, but I've also want to talk a little bit at the end about clubfoot awareness. Now, obviously you can skip that bit if you want, but in our family, my lovely grandson, my youngest grandson, was born with clubfoot. So I want to talk a little bit about that because we've had some good news this week, but I'll keep that for the end. But as normal, let's get rolling with the sewing. So I've sewn two things this week. Now, one of them was an indie pattern, and yes, I do venture into indie patterns every now and again. I haven't got a picture of it, all I have is my pattern pieces, but it's the Lago tank from Itch to Stitch. Now, last week I showed you some fabric that I bought back from America, and it was this wonderful tie-dye. There was a reason I chose that. It is, as I put in my thumbnail, feeling groovy, because it definitely has kind of 70s vibes, doesn't it? So there was a reason. I have these old pair of workout leggings I've had 10, 12 years. Had these lovely colours in, it's like a green, a pink and yellow. And because of the fabric these are made in, I absolutely love them and I've clung on to them. But when I saw this piece of fabric in Hobby Lobby in America, I thought nothing could be more perfect than to go with that. It's got the green, it's got the yellow, it's got the pink. Now, obviously I'll do my little bit of a twirl in the garden to show you, but here it is made up. Now, with tie-dye, it's really hard to place the colours where you want to, because really I wanted more of the green. There's certainly no pattern matching, but it is hard. You get what you get when you sew with a piece of tie-dye. Whether that would have been better as the front, I don't know. I will show you a photo. What I was going to do was do a solid green neckline here, but actually it looked really, really wrong. So I took that off and I just recut it again using more of the colours. Now, I do love this top, but I only use this t-shirt pattern for fitness top because it's racer back. I have in the past, and it's very simple to do, is actually increase the shoulder seam, just add an extra bit and then bring it sort of further over so it doesn't show the bra strap, because I'm old school and I hate seeing bra straps. So yeah, I have done it, but for this one I just made it up as it was because it's a fitness top, therefore I wear a racer back bra, you know, extra support. We need that, don't we, when we're bouncing around. So I'm really happy. That was a fun make, because a couple of the other things this week have been a bit more challenging, so it was a nice easy make and goes perfectly with my good old leggings. Now, the second thing I made was from the gifted pattern that I received a couple of weeks ago from a lovely viewer, Elise, who lives in the UK. I think I explained last week she'd won a pattern from me, so very kindly sent me a pattern that she wasn't particularly keen on. She'd cut the pieces out but not the size out, which was amazing. So she obviously did a lot of tracing. Hats off to her, I don't do that. So it's New Look 6513, and now I said I hadn't seen this before and a lot of you said the same. Very kind of fitted top here with the pleats. Now, I had this, I said I wasn't sure what this fabric was. I am convinced it's a linen, and I went back through all my emails to try and find out where I bought it from. But yeah, I'm convinced it's a linen because it behaves like a linen. It's very lightweight, got this kind of grain, but it has that look of linen where it gets kind of creased. So I said last week, oh, you know, it looked really nice in a plain because you could see the pleats. What was I thinking? Because that made it harder. You could hide a multitude of sins on a pattern piece of fabric, but not on plain, and certainly not this linen, because it moved and shifted, and some of the pleats are a little bit, they're not all equidistant, let's put it that way. I'll get away with it. So I made a size 10. Now that's what I would normally do. I have to say it is quite close fitting. I could fib to you and say, and if you look at it, you'll think it's a perfect fit. But I'm not going to say that. I will say it fits me nicely, but if I do pull my arms forward, it is quite tight at the back. It's okay, but it's on the limits. So really, I think whether I should have done an FBA, but I don't know how you'd have done it on this kind of pattern, or maybe size up just in that area and grade out, I'm not sure. But it is totally wearable. Here it is. Now I know it isn't a colour that's in my colour palette, but I do really like it. Here is the finished results. So as you can see, it does have that look of linen where you've got the crease, and I actually really like that. Now I know a lot of people don't like the look of creased linen, but I do. This was more of a challenge for me than I've made things in a long time, because you've got the stand-up little collar there, you've got the pleats, I don't often do that, you've got this front facing here, ties at the back, which was lovely. There is a back seam which I kept in. When I went on to pattern review, a lot of people had taken that out, but I thought on something so plain, actually having a nice seam and then top stitching it would make it look a little bit better. So I got a few threads here, not a rolled hem, a turned up hem on the, I didn't use the cover stitch because I thought it needed something a bit more elevated, so I've just done hems on the sleeves. I'm really impressed that even though I used medium interfacing, this stands up against me. I'm quite impressed, because what I didn't want it was to flop down. You could put ties on it. I think that one version there has the ties. I decided not to. I think it actually looks quite classy. The only thing I'm worried about is one of the comments about this pattern said it was good for a maternity top. I hope you think it doesn't look like that. But I'm really impressed. But the only thing for me is, yes, it's not quite my colour, so it would be more flattering in a stronger colour for me. And the fabric is weird, but I think it works. So thank you very much, Elise. I know you weren't too keen on the pattern, but actually I really like it. Yeah, you can notice I'm moving it, so you can't really see how perpendicular, is that the word? The pleats are. They're not bad. I'm just being picky. So thank you. That was New Look 6513. Also finished this week my Fabric Wheel of Fate, and that was again a slightly different top for me. Quite a basic top, but you just had this pleat. I will show it to you. Lots of people have seen the video, so you've probably seen it already. But it was this one here with this kind of tie detail here. Really pleased with that. Colours I just absolutely adore. So when I put my Fabric Wheel of Fate video, obviously there are some more channels out there doing the fabric wheel, which I am so happy about because I know how much fun it is. I happen to be watching the lovely Deb from Sew Yourself a Capsule Wardrobe, who put out her first results this week. And YouTube's fatal, isn't it? I saw a pattern on there which I know I didn't have, and I really liked the look of her first make. So I went on Amazon and bought the pattern, which is quite rare for me to do, but I find quite often Style Arc patterns on Amazon are discounted. So I did get actually 20% off the two patterns. So what were they? Well, the lovely top she'd made was a boat neck t-shirt, and I always love having a stack of t-shirt patterns. So it's the Ellis knit. Lots of different versions and necklines there, which is good. And she made the boat neck version. I will put a link to that video down below. So I ordered that. You can't get one. You've got to get two at least, haven't you, when you buy it? And I picked up a pattern that I have looked at several times in the past. Another top pattern, but it's the Ethel top. Now I know loads of people have made this, but I had bought it for a reason. I had a reason, sort of an idea in my head what I wanted to do with it, because I do love the collar blocking and I love the fact it's kind of little boxy summer top. So 2 new patterns. That's naughty for me, but definitely patterns that can go with me into the future. And obviously you can see Style Art, yes, they are PDF, but I like getting the actual printed pattern because I'm lazy like that. So that was kind of my sewing. Let me show you something else now. Now, as you all know, I have a subscription box for fat quarters. This is going to be my last one actually, because I have a huge supply of fat quarters now, and the time has I've got to stop with the subscription and actually start sewing them up. Now, when I have been receiving this, they always give a pattern. And it's interesting actually. Let me show you the fabrics first, because they're always absolutely beautiful, but I really need to start sewing some of my fat quarters up. And I've got an idea how to do that, which I'll probably share next week. These fabrics here, very summery. You've got nautical theme, aren't they? And they're just, I absolutely love these. They're always lovely quality like that. I think Jen from Today and Jen's Sewing Room would like that one actually. It's all her colours, blues. So you get that, you get some thread, and you get called toggles. So, well, the pattern that they've suggested, you can do what you want with them, but funnily enough, the pattern they've suggested is a water bottle holder. Now, this is quite funny because I think about a year ago, maybe even more, I kind of cobbled together my own pattern for a water bottle holder. Now, I will put the link to that video down below. It is this one here. I've made it several times. This is my Disney one. It's so simple to make. It really is. So I've got so long for this anyway. I have put like a little clip there so you can clip it onto a belt if you didn't want to carry it around over your But I use this all the time for my recent holiday in California. Absolutely love it. But they have a pattern for something similar, but I will say it's got a tie top for the bottle. Now, actually, that would annoy me. So if you've got the bottle in there, what I tend to do is take it out and drink it and pop it back in. I'm not sure I would want the tie top, because then it's, I don't know, I don't think it would work for me. So I may make one in that fabric, but I will use my own pattern. Not me saying, oh, I'm going to use my own pattern. It's the fact that I don't think that's too practical, and that actually would annoy me, having to undo it and maybe take the bottle out. But kind of them to include a pattern anyway, and we can always learn something. There's probably a technique in here that I hadn't thought about when I made mine. So I may well do that, because obviously that's suitable for Disney, but not very classy, normal times, is it? So that was probably my last fat quarter subscription box. Now I want to talk to you about clubfoot. Now I've been busy with something else this week, but it's we've had final good news. So my youngest grandson Charlie was born with a clubfoot. So that's where one foot or two is born, and it's slightly, it sort of turns inwards. So obviously it's something they spotted on a scan when she was pregnant. I'm going to be honest and say I was absolutely freaked out about this, and so was she. We'd never come across it before. It wasn't in the family. Apparently it's something like 1 in 1,000 children, which is way more common than you think. And we were terrified. We had no idea what was going to happen. But I'll just cut to the chase now and say it's all absolutely fine. So the reason I'm talking about this on my channel, and it's nothing to do with sewing, but it is in a way. don't worry. That's all I will say. Someone very kindly, when we first heard about it, said to me, don't worry about that. You know, one of the top footballers in the UK was born with a club foot. And I thought, okay, it's something that can be sorted. Now, this poor little chap has, although he's no different, has, when he was first born, I will put some pictures in, and my daughter says absolutely fine to share them because it is kind of raising awareness and getting us talking about it. He had to have an operation as a tiny baby to correct it. He then had replastered a few times. He then had to wear what they call, it's called the Ponseti method. That's what they use in the UK. I'm not sure if it's different across the world. But you have to have then your feet in these boots and bars is what they call them. Oh, as I say, I'll put pictures in. So he had to wear them sort of for 11 hours a day when he was tiny, for months. And that's quite awkward, having a baby that you're trying to pick up with these boots and bars on. And then he had to wear them after a certain amount of time. He then had to wear them every night until he was 5. Now, fine as a young baby, but as he got older, obviously having these enormous boots and bars and trying to sleep with them where you're trying to roll over. Poor little chap. My daughter and her husband and my other grandson, the older brother, have been absolutely amazing, and all credit to them. I honestly don't think I could have been as persistent and seen it through to the end. I don't know if I could have done it, but they have. They've never let him have a night off. I know that sounds cruel, but wow, has it been in his best interest, because at 4.5, they've said that's it. He doesn't have to wear them ever again, unless he gets a growth spurt much later on, but we won't even think about that. So on Tuesday, he was given the go-ahead by the hospital. No more boots and bars. He can sleep normally, which means he can get out of bed in the middle of the night. He can go in and see his brother now, which is a whole new world for him, as I can imagine. But I am absolutely thrilled. This little chap, I know he's no different, but he has gone through that, his all his life really. His brother has been amazing. He's never teased him once, which I'm convinced my brother wouldn't have done. But honestly, hats off, congratulations to little Charlie and all of them for getting through it. So I just want to say, when I heard about it as the grandmother, obviously I don't have to live through it. I felt I wanted to do something. I really did. But my sewing power did come in to good use. So right back at the beginning, when he was a tiny baby and he had this cast on his leg, obviously you want to bath a baby. So I made these kind of waterproof covers out of ripstop fabric with sort of terry toweling at the top and a little drawstring, so they could put that over his leg and then sort of wash the rest of him. So that was brilliant. Then going forward, when he was a young baby, you want to put them in a baby grow, don't you, with the feet, because they always look so cute. But he couldn't wear those baby grows, and it was really hard to get baby grows for young babies that don't have the little feet on. So we used to have to buy those. I used to cut them off and repurpose that bit of foot and turn it into a cuff on the bottom, and I think I've got some photos of that. It's a shame I never kept them, because that could have been useful to someone. But anyway, so that was my contribution to him, that I can fact that she could buy these baby grows, still wear them, but yeah, I adapted them so he could wear them with his boots and bars. So all in all, we're going to have a little bit of a party and celebration tomorrow, and my daughter wanted a cake made to celebrate it, but what we didn't want to do is pay for someone to make it in case it didn't happen. So I volunteered my non-decorating skills for making a cake, but I'm quite pleased how it turns out. There's a lot of icing, there's a lot of Amazon cardboard went into the construction of this cake, but I'll show it to you. It's so it's boots and bars on the cake, as good as I could get them, with obviously the bar snapped or broken. So no more boots. So that's kept me quite busy this week, actually, trying to create this cake. It's only for the family anyway, so no one's going to see it, but I thought I'd share it with you. And I just wanted to say, if you've been through it in your family clubfoot, you'll know that it's fine in the end. But when you're given that original sentence and told it's going to be 5 years, that's an incredibly long time. So yeah, he's good, and he's super, super happy, as you can see from the photo. Now, I hope you didn't mind me talking about that, but even if it helps one of my viewers, or one, you know, you've gone through it so you know what it's like, that to me, that's brilliant. I'm so glad I did it. So photos at the end are going to be, now a lot of you loved my photos from our holiday in California last week. They're going to be Yosemite photos, because Yosemite, as I said, I think last week, we went 20 years ago and came back with a wow, a factor of it, and we went back this time, came away with the same. Absolutely amazing place. You'll know if you've been there how incredible it is. So I will put some photos up there of Yosemite. So looking ahead this weekend, we may escape down to the holiday home, bit of peace. My husband's been away traveling the other side of the world this week, so he's going to want to catch up on some sleep. So we may do that. And as for my plans for next week, really, I need to make some cushions. And I know that's not exciting to show you on my channel, but I need to make some cushions. I'm also halfway through the fabric wheel make, which was a nasty one because it was slippy fabric, but I'm halfway through that. So that's what I may be showing you next week. I promise I'll try to make it interesting if you come back for next week's #Friday Sews. I nearly forgot to say I'm going to have a video coming out next week, quite a fun lighted-hearted one. Every now and again I like to put in like a different type of video, and this certainly is a different type of video. So I really hope you keep your eye out and look out for that next week. Thank you to Jen, of course, for starting up the #Friday Sews. And don't forget, put #Friday Sews in the search bar and you will get some videos coming up. Hopefully, if you do it in order date, then you'll get the recent ones. I find sometimes I don't always get notified of someone's video. It doesn't always work, does it? So you don't want to miss out on what everybody else has been doing, because probably a bit more exciting than me. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate your company. As always, I always say, I'm sorry if I kept you too long. Always lots to talk about. As you can see, once a week, I like to have a good sewing chat with you all, because no one else listens to me about sewing. Thank you again, and have a super weekend and week ahead, whatever you get up to, especially if you're in America celebrating Independence Day. I will see you soon. Goodbye for now, and happy sewing.